Terror in Whitechapel, the shadow of Jack the Ripper. The year is 1888. The place is Whitechapel, a poor and crowded district in London's East End. Life here is already hard, but a new kind of fear is creeping in. The streets are filled with whispers and dread. A killer, known only as Jack the Ripper, is stalking the streets. His presence is like a dark cloud hanging over the city. He preys on women, leaving a trail of gruesome murders in his wake. The police are baffled, the people are terrified. Every corner holds a new potential horror. The name Jack the Ripper has become synonymous with terror itself. His legend grows with each passing day, casting a long, dark shadow over Whitechapel. Days of uncertainty, inquests and investigations. The brutal murders of Polly Nichols on August 31st and Annie Chapman on September 8th sent shockwaves through the Whitechapel district. The community was gripped with fear and anxiety as the gruesome nature of the crimes became widely known. The police are under immense pressure to find the killer. The public demands swift justice, and the authorities are desperate to restore a sense of safety and order in the streets of London. Inquests, formal legal inquiries into the deaths, are opened for both victims. These inquests are crucial in determining the cause of death and gathering any possible evidence that could lead to the apprehension of the murderer. However, the process is slow. Bureaucratic red tape and the sheer complexity of the cases hinder the progress of the investigations. Witnesses are afraid to come forward. Evidence is scarce. The fear of retribution from the killer keeps many potential witnesses silent, making it even more challenging for the police to piece together the puzzle. Between September 12th and 19th, the investigation seems to be at a standstill. The lack of new leads and the mounting pressure from the public and the media create a tense atmosphere. Every passing day without an arrest only deepens the sense of fear and uncertainty. The residents of Whitechapel live in constant dread, wondering if the killer will strike again and if they will ever be brought to justice. Whispers and false leads, the search for the Ripper. Rumours and speculation run rampant through the streets of Whitechapel. Everyone has a theory about the Ripper's identity. Some believe he is a doctor, due to the precise way he mutilates his victims. Others whisper that he must be a butcher or a slaughterhouse worker accustomed to handling knives and blood. False leads and mistaken identities plague the investigation. The police are inundated with information, much of it unhelpful or simply untrue. Section 4. Laid to rest. The funerals of Polly Nichols and Annie Chapman. Amidst the chaos and fear, the victims of the Ripper's brutality are laid to rest. Polly Nichols is buried on September 6th in a simple ceremony. Her family, grief-stricken and impoverished, can barely afford the funeral costs. Annie Chapman's funeral takes place on September 14th. Both funerals serve as stark reminders of the killer's brutality and the vulnerability of women in Whitechapel. Section 5. A city on edge. Fear and frustration in the East End. The East End is on edge. Women, especially those who work on the streets at night, are terrified. The police presence is increased, but it does little to quell the fear. Public criticism of the police investigation grows. People feel let down and unprotected. The lack of progress in catching the Ripper only fuels the anger and frustration. Section 6. The investigation continues. Adjournment and its implications. This chapter delves into the critical moment when the investigation into the death of Polly Nichols faced a significant setback. On September 23rd, the inquest into the death of Polly Nichols is adjourned. The streets of London buzz with the news as the public eagerly awaits justice. The coroner, acknowledging the lack of progress in the case, postpones the proceedings until more evidence can be gathered. This decision underscores the challenges faced by the authorities in piecing together the mystery. The adjournment is a blow to the investigation. Detectives, already under immense pressure, now face the daunting task of finding new leads in a case that grows colder by the day. It is also a stark reminder that, for now, Jack the Ripper remains at large and Whitechapel remains in his grip. The fear among the residents is palpable as they navigate the shadowy streets, wary of the lurking danger. The hunt for the killer continues, but the shadow of fear still hangs heavy over the East End. The police patrol the streets tirelessly, yet the elusive figure of Jack the Ripper remains a constant, haunting presence in the minds of all.